Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Mindful Money Nuggets, your weekly dose of practical tips for mastering your money without stress and overwhelm. I'm your host, Traci, and today we're diving into something super relevant to anyone with a regular paycheck, especially if you get paid twice a month. We're talking about the payday routine. A lot of advice out there says you should pay yourself first. But let's be real, if you're barely making ends meet, that's just not realistic. And that's okay. You don't need to follow cookie cutter rules. I'm all about what works in real life. So today we're breaking down practical steps for building a payday routine that actually works when you're stretched thin. First up, before you can create a payday routine, you've got to have a solid understanding of your cash flow. Let me explain cash flow. Cash flow, in its simplest form, is the dates money flows in and out of your account. All you need for this is a basic calendar, but ideally, you have a budgeting system. I am a big fan and certified coach for a budgeting spending tool called You Need a Budget, YNAB. I like it because it simplifies ongoing budgeting and makes your budget actionable. If you've heard any of my previous episodes, you'll know that having an actionable budget is the key to financial control. But if you prefer pen and paper, grab a calendar and list of all your expenses and their due dates. Start by listing all your essential expenses, the ones you absolutely cannot miss, like rent, utilities, insurance, and debt payments. These are your non-negotiables. Next, I want you to pull out your calendar and look at when your bills are due compared to when you get paid. For those of us with 2 paychecks a month, this can be a little tricky. Not everything lines up perfectly with payday, but knowing this in advance helps you create a game plan so you're not caught off guard when something like the power bill hits before you're ready. Now that you've got your essentials in front of you, here's where the real-world strategy kicks in. Instead of trying to pay all your bills with one paycheck, split them across both paydays. The key is splitting up those big bills so you're not left with zero in your account mid-month. To do this, take a piece of paper and create 2 categories of expenses: a must pay with cash and credit card eligible expenses. Now, when I say credit card eligible expenses, I mean those expenses that must be paid, but can be safely floated until the next pay period. This isn't an endorsement of using credit cards carelessly. It's about cash flow management. Think of your credit card as a debit card with benefits, not a tool to accumulate debt. Let's say you've got a big expense like rent or a mortgage that eats up most of your first paycheck. Instead of stressing about other bills that fall around the same time, plan ahead to cover some of those with the second paycheck. If due dates don't line up, use your credit card for certain expenses and pay it off with your next paycheck. But here's the key. When you use a credit card this way, you need to treat those charges as spent money. It's like using a debit card. You've already spent it. This prevents debt from piling up, which is one of the reasons I love using a budgeting app like YNAB. YNAB prioritizes living debt-free and helps you stay accountable by alerting you when you've spent money you don't have. This system keeps you from getting an inflated sense of your bank account balance and acts as a subtle but effective accountability tool. In my opinion, this feature has had the greatest impact on my shifting of my negative spending habits. Okay, now let's talk about surprises. You know the ones, the unexpected car repair, a school expense, or even just groceries that went over budget. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, these things can throw your whole plan off. That's why it's essential to build a cushion, even if it's just a little bit at a time. Here's what I recommend. Once you've handled your non-negotiable bills, see if there's anything left over. Maybe it's $20, maybe it's $50. I had one client whose goal was just $10 a month. Don't underestimate the power of small amounts. Instead of thinking you need to put it into a long-term savings, which can feel impossible, build a short-term emergency fund. This is a small buffer that sits in your checking account to protect you from unexpected expenses. It's not about getting rich overnight. It's about having a safety net that keeps you from falling into debt. Personally, I like to fill this category after my last paycheck of the month, so I know it's that little bit extra. Now let's address the pay yourself first advice. I know this gets thrown around a lot in personal finance, but let's face it, when you're stretched thin, it's not always possible for you to set aside 10 or 20% of your income right off the bat. And that's okay. Instead, I want you to think about paying yourself in small ways that add up over time. This could be contributing a small amount towards the emergency fund or a sinking fund for something important to you, like a family vacation, or even just putting aside $5 or $10 here or there for something small, like treating yourself to your favorite coffee shop once a month. It's not about deprivation. It's about a balance. Your long-term goals matter, but so does your present well-being. Once you've set up this payday routine, make it a habit. Sit down on payday, every payday, and go through your routine. Make sure your bills are lined up. You've split your payments and you're taking care of that cushion, even if it's just that small amount. Consistency is the key. The more you get into the rhythm of this, the easier it becomes and the more in control you'll feel of your finances. And remember, this isn't about being perfect. It's about creating a system that works for your life, where you are right now. As your income grows or your expenses change, you can adjust your routine. But the goal is to build that strong foundation so you're never caught off guard. All right, that's it for today's episode. And if payday stress is getting you down, I hope this routine gives you a practical path forward. Just take it one step at a time. And remember, small progress is still progress. If you found this helpful, please share this with a friend who could use a little payday peace of mind. And as always, I'd love to hear from you. How do you handle your payday routine? Do you split your bills or use a different system? Let me know either in the comments here on YouTube or on LinkedIn or Instagram, and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay mindful and stay on top of your money. Take care.